Hi, we're in Kennewick and we're at Starbucks, and we have met another person who is ready to talk to us, and so I'd like you to introduce
Stephen Longmire.
Stephen Longmire, and we are Fellowship of Peace, and we gave you a little rundown of what we're doing walking across Washington State, and we're asking the question, why the death penalty? And we'd like to hear just some words of your opinion or what you know.
Oh, well, why the death penalty? Okay, I believe it's, for the most serious crimes, it's a necessary alternative, such as terrorists, serial killers, or if the victim's really vulnerable, such as a pregnant woman, a young person, elderly. In those cases, I believe it's a necessary and viable alternative.
And do you know who is on our death row in Washington State now?
I think there's like about 10 people. One of them is Spokane, I forget what his name is, but yeah, he's a well-known serial killer.
And there's 8 people, and do you know where the Green River Killer is?
He's doing life in prison.
So he's not on death row.
Yeah, and I don't know how the prosecutor made that decision, and yeah, I question his wisdom on going forward with a life sentence rather than the death penalty.
Well, and just we'll just take that one subject to talk about because we don't have a lot of time for each interview, and you brought this one up. So would you think that is constitutional, as all of our laws are supposed to be dispensed fairly, equally? Is it being done equally then if a serial killer is in general population and someone else who is on death row has perhaps not done what you've just described as the worst of the worst, but they're on death row?
I think sometimes the justice system isn't perfect, so.
What is, right? But it is maybe the best in the world, we probably all think.
Well, it's an analogy, and I do believe it, that the U.S. justice system is the worst in the world except all others. So.
Okay, I'm not sure. It's the worst?
Except for everybody else.
Oh, okay, so it's that imperfect, but it's better than the others.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I think we're trying, and we're trying to do this the best we can, but it is run by human beings.
Yeah.
And so perhaps there's frailties, mistakes, maybe agendas, maybe even egos.
Could be, yeah.
So when it comes to killing someone then, how can we be sure we've got the right person and we have got the right judgment? Who is qualified to decide who should live and who should die?
I think that's up to the court system, and if you look at a lot of the death penalty cases, it's pretty obvious who committed them. You have a lot of people that have been free on DNA testing, and I have got no problem with DNA testing or with appeals.
And so do you know how many people have been exonerated from death row since?
Quite a few.
It's up to 143. Last week in Arizona, a woman was exonerated after 24 years on death row. So mistakes are happening?
Yeah, but they're rectified by our legal justice system with the exonerations.
So you're confident that we've caught every innocent person and saved them before they've been executed?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, there are some cases we have found out afterwards we have executed, not here in Washington State that we know of, because rarely monies and funds and times are invested in something that someone has already been executed. But in other states, say Cameron Todd Willingham in Texas in 2004 was executed, and the forensics prove that he did not set the fire that killed his children, and yet he is gone and we cannot bring him back. What if we made a mistake like that in Washington?
It would be bad, but I'd like to see the evidence from that case, because from what I understand, and I'm kind of vaguely familiar with this, it was proven he was an accessory after the fact, or still an accessory. There was a question to whether the role he played in the crime.
Okay, there's a lot of those facts online folks can look into and find out what's been published and what hasn't. And do you know the facts of what population is on death rows overall in the United States? Which of our community is ending up in that situation?
There's
Okay, sorry.